All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully you're having a great day. We got a full slate of games. We've got day games today, so we're going to talk about each one, and I'm going to give you my 5 best bets today. All right, let's rip this awful Band-Aid off and talk about yesterday. Everything that could go wrong pretty much did. We got CLV on every bet except one. Padres' money line moved pretty drastically against us. It was the only winner. So there's that. New York and Cleveland over 8. New York started off good, and then the LOBs. That was pretty much the theme of the night. Left on base was ridiculous. Padres obviously got the job done. Baltimore, Washington over 9. Washington scored 7 runs. Baltimore got 1 hit. 1 hit. That's all we got. 1 goddamn hit. So there's that. They didn't do anything. So against lefties, we just got to continue to fade them, man. That was a spot for them. Let's see. Royals run line. That looked great. Fantastic. We're up 2-0 in the 9th. First 2 hitters get out pretty quickly. So we're 2 outs. Top of the 9th. And yeah, Estevez goes walk, walk, walk. Walks the bases loaded. And then a bases clearing double to give the Rockies the lead. And then KC comes back and ties it, ends up winning in the 11th inning by 1. GG. Tampa Bay and Arizona, Rays couldn't hit. They just simply could not hit the baseball. It was ridiculous. So lost that one. Mariners team total over 4.5. Mariners had like 10 runners left on base. Should have hit that. So coulda, woulda, should have. It is what it is. We move on, down 4 units. So just worst day of the season for us. But it is a long season. This won't be the first time this happens, unfortunately, but let's have a good bounce back day today. So let's get into the first game on the card. It is going to be the first game at 12:15, the Cardinals and the Braves. This has been a wild series. This has been an absolute wild series where the over has been free. That said, the over is a little juicy at 9 for me, but you've got 2 really bad pitchers. You got Miles Mikolas and Bryce Elder going up against each other. It's going to be 70 degrees, but we are going to have high humidity and high pressure. Both of those are really bad for carry. And we've got the wind blowing in from left, so just not comfortable taking this 9. If we look, I think lefties have an advantage today. Atlanta's hitting 5 lefties. St. Louis has 4. I don't trust either of these pitchers. Both of these pitchers have 7+ ERAs, very low strikeout rates. So my best bet in this one that I officially played is Bryce Elder under 4.5 Ks at -125. This is just too much. So I like this spot here. If we look at Elder, giving up a 364 average to righties, 222 to lefties. Miles Mikolas, 353 to lefties, 231 to righties. The only thing Elder does better is he just doesn't give up a lot of hard contact. So he only gives up about 39% hard hit percentage. Mikolas is at 43. This game could go either way. Just 2 really bad pitchers. So not going to pick a side in this one, but I do like Elder under Ks. If I had to lean towards a team, you're getting too much value to take the Cardinals. So can't get behind the Braves at -170 with Bryce Elder on the bump. Next game, Phillies and the Mets. It's been a great game series so far. Mets kind of blew it open yesterday. So can the Phillies get one here? I think they're in a good spot too. You got Zach Wheeler going up against David Peterson. So Wheeler 2-1 on the year, Peterson 1-1. Both of them similar ERAs. Wheeler's 3.73, Peterson 3.27. Wheeler is a fly ball pitcher. 66% of his outs come via the fly ball. Peterson is a ground ball pitcher. We do have a 6-mile-an-hour wind blowing in from left field. It's going to be 70 degrees, low humidity, and high pressure. So both of those not great for carry. If we look at Peterson, he is 1-3 with a 4.98 ERA versus Philly in his career. We look at Zach Wheeler, he's 5-5 with a 3.56 ERA versus the Mets in his career. 2 teams coming into this series. Mets weren't hitting the ball fantastic. Philly was absolutely crushing it, scoring a ton of runs. Really haven't seen the offense kind of open up yet. And I don't think this is necessarily the spot where we're going to see a ton of runs. Obviously, we got an over-under of 7.5, and the under is pretty favored. So the bet I like in this one is going to be Zach Wheeler over 4.5 hits. is too low. We know this Phillies bullpen is terrible. Zach Wheeler is a guy that's going to go for a long time today. So 4.5 hits isn't egregious when we're talking 7 innings, 6-7 innings here. So I like this spot. If we look at the matchups, historically, not great. They really haven't fared so well against Wheeler if we look at this Mets lineup, but good enough to get us 5 hits. So that's my best bet, and I lean Phillies on the money line in this one, but you can still get the Mets at plus money, which is pretty good value to get the Mets at plus 115. So there is some value there, but I think the Phillies take this one down. Next game on the card is going to be the Yankees and the Guardians. Will the Yankees actually hit the baseball? I don't know. Carlos Rodon going up against Luis Ortiz. I mean, Luis Ortiz, 5.48 ERA, 2-2 on the year, giving up an opponent average of 250, 256 against lefties, 250 against righties, 48% hard hit percentage. I mean, this is, if the Yankees can't win this, they got problems. But I am a little nervous. We look at their record when they're traveling north. It has not been good. When they're playing the Tigers and all those teams up here, they just have not fared well. On the hill for the Yankees is going to be Carlos Rodon, the lefty, 2-3 on the year with a 160 opponent average. Really, the issue for Rodon, he's getting a ton of strikeouts, but he's walking too many guys. And then other teams just seem to find those timely hits where he'll walk 2 guys and then they'll hit a home run or they'll hit a double in the gap that scores 2. So he's just making small mistakes that have kind of cost him. But overall, he's pitched extremely well. In terms of the pitch mix here today for Rodon, Cleveland's 10th hitting the fastball, 7th hitting the slider. That is about 80% of what he throws. So don't love that spot. This should be a spot where we'd feel really comfortable taking the Yankees. But given kind of how they've played, I just don't know if I can put faith behind them. So it's a Yankee spot. There's no way I can get behind Luis Ortiz unless the Guardians just go nuts with the run. So I would lean over 8 would be where I want to go. I just don't know if I can put faith that A, Cleveland gets to Rodon, and B, that the Yankees can hit. So anytime home runs are down, I get a little nervous taking this Yankees team. We do have a 3-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to right field. It's going to be about 66 degrees, mid-humidity, but high pressure. So not great for carry, but God, it just feels like the Yankees are just absolutely due to just rip one off here. So my only problem is this Cleveland bullpen is still the Cleveland bullpen. So I do have some concerns there, but minus 155 is too juicy. But I would lean Yankees in this one. All right, next game. Reds and the Marlins. Oh, the Reds. Oh, the Reds blew it last night. That was bad. And the way they blew it was terrible. Graham Ashcraft is an absolute moron. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, Brady Singer going up against Sandy Alcantara. Alcantara, pretty good on the year. 2-1, 215 opponent average. Brady Singer, undefeated, 3-0 with a 210 opponent average. My concern here is Alcantara throws a pretty good slider, and we have seen in the first 2 games of this series, we saw it with Max Meyer, we saw it last night. Teams that have, or a pitcher that throws a really good slider can find some success against this Reds lineup. So I do struggle to get behind the Marlins at minus 130 with Singer. I would lean Reds. The only bet I like in this one that's on the card is the Nerfy. If we look at the Nerfy, you just got really good odds here. So Singer's batting 1,000 on the year on Nerfies. Alcantara 75%, but he is 3-0 to the Nerfy at home. So we got the Nerfy at minus 115, I believe. So minus 115 on BetMGM is my best bet in that one. But I think you're getting value to take the Reds. But they had 2 call-ups, and they've been hitting really well, actually. I thought they would struggle, and they have not. So lean Reds, but like the Nerfy as the official play. All right, Mariners and the Red Sox. This is just not a good game. Emerson Hancock going against Sean Newcomb. Newcomb, 3.63 ERA, 0-2, an opponent average of 3.38, going up against Emerson Hancock, who is 0-1, giving up an opponent average of 462. He's got a 12.71 ERA. Now, the only team that he really didn't get absolutely shit on was by the Reds. But I can't back a guy that's given up a 500 average to lefties, 417 to righties. And then on the other side with Newcomb, 273 to lefties, 356 to righties. His hard hit percentage is through the roof. You got a 7-mile-an-hour wind basically blowing from left to right. It's going to be 63 degrees, low humidity, and high pressure. So not great for carry, but we should see runs in this one. But my God, 10 is a lot. That said, I'm still probably leaning towards the over in this one. So over 10 would be my best bet in this game, but absolute shit show on the pitching. We'll see if Mariners can actually hit with runners in scoring position today. Next game is going to be the Orioles and the Nats. This one-hit team, Orioles, sending out Tomoyuki Sugano, going up against Trevor Williams. Trevor Williams hasn't had the greatest start to the year. But against this lineup, I think he's going to do okay. We look at Sugano giving up a 267 average to lefties, 278 to righties. Struggles early, and his pitch mix today doesn't look great. Throws the fastball and cutter about 46% of the time. The Nats are loving fastballs and cutters. He also throws a curveball. Nats are top 10 in that as well. Now, where they struggle is a good sinker and splitter and a slider, which he does throw. But given the offensive woes for this Orioles team, we're going to fade them. So give me the Nats first 5 at plus 100 and hope they just don't absolutely wake up and tear the shit out of Trevor Williams, which is a gamble. But we kind of saw it when the Nats played the Dodgers at home. Once they got hot, they just didn't stop that series. So I like them to come back strong today as well and score some runs to get this first 5 for us. All right, next game, Dodgers and the Cubs. This is a good one. We got Matt Sauer going up against Matthew Boyd. Sauer's only pitched in one game. It went like 1.2 innings and gave up an earned run. So ERA is going to be a little higher because of that. Matthew Boyd 1-2 with a 226 opponent average. We just saw a hell of a game last night. Ended up being a ton of runs. We've got an over-under of 9 today. We got 55 degrees, wind blowing out to left, mid-humidity, and high pressure. So not necessarily great for runs, but 9, it's a lot, but I would probably still lean over. A little hesitant with Matthew Boyd. Could absolutely throw a gem of a game, but he's been struggling against lefties. 364 average against lefties. Doing pretty well against righties, though. 180 average against them. I would lean Cubs. It's an absolute coin flip of a game here. You can get Cubs at minus 108 now on FanDuel, but coin flippy game. Not going to bet it, but would lean Cubs in this spot. Next game, Blue Jays and the Astros. Ryan Gusto going up against Bowden Francis. Another game that should be pretty good. Bowden Francis has been pitching very well. ERA is definitely up from last year, 3.13. Ryan Gusto, 2-1, opponent average 273, ERA at 3.18. Neither are necessarily prolific strikeout guys. Gusto is a fly ball pitcher. Roof's going to be closed here. I think a lot of people were on Toronto yesterday. I think today is the day to get on board with Toronto. So I would lean Toronto money line at minus 105. You just don't know what you're going to get out of this offense, though. So it does scare me a little bit. Really struggling with runners in scoring position. But the Astros aren't much better. So Blue Jays are pass for me in this game. All right, Rockies and the Royals. Jermaine Marquez going up against Michael Lorenzen. Freaking 2 outs in the 9th and give up 3 runs. Crazy. Not taking the Royals minus 192, I'll tell you that. We got a 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to left. It's going to be 75 degrees, mid-humidity, mid-pressure. Beautiful day to score runs. Don't trust either offense. Don't trust either pitcher. Marquez has an 8.27 ERA. Lorenzen 4.57. Lorenzen's 1-3 on the year. Marquez 0-3. Giving up an opponent average of 324. Lefties are hitting 300 off of him. Righties are hitting 361. He's got a 48% hard hit percentage. Lorenzen, lefties are hitting 300, righties 231. The fact we're getting an 8.5 just tells you how bad these offenses are. So lean over 8.5. I can't trust either of these teams, but I think you put together two fairly shitty pitchers, you should get some runs. So lean over 8.5. Don't know if I actually put a bet on this game or not. Royals really pissed me off after yesterday. White Sox and the Twins. It's David Festa on the bump for Minnesota, going up against Bryce Wilson. So Wilson's 0-0 with a 320 opponent batting average and a 4.50 ERA. Going up against David Festa. Pitched one game so far, looked really good. I am a Festa fan. My issue is, can we trust this Twins offense? Kind of got it done last night, although it looked like they could potentially lose. Hell of a catch by Byron Buxton last night in the ninth in that game. The only play here is taking the Twins on the run line, which I don't feel terrible about. It was one of those, I had it on the card, ended up taking it off, but Twins run line or nothing here. You can get White Sox team total over 2.5, but it's pretty juiced. So Twins run line. All right, Pirates and the Angels. Angels were minus 200 favorites yesterday and got blown out. So not really a team you can trust. Andrew Haney on the bump going up against Jack Kochanowicz. Kochanowicz 1-2 with a 6.20 ERA, giving an opponent average of 284. Not great. This guy is a two-pitch pitcher. That doesn't usually go well in the majors. He is a fastball and slider. Throws a fastball 76% of the time, throws a slider 24%. Very low K percentage, basically doesn't strike out anybody. But there is a pretty decent offensive advantage for the Angels here. If we look at the splits, guys like Taylor Ward should have a pretty decent day today. Nolan should have a pretty decent day. He's got a pretty plus matchup. Travis Darnold has a decent matchup. Joe Adell. I think there's an angle to take the Pirates again here with Kochanowicz, and the fact Haney is a lefty. Haney's been pretty good. Gave up the grand slam in the Reds game, but other than that, he's been nails all year. 2.13 ERA, 189 opponent average. Lefties have been able to hit off of him. They're hitting 269. Righties 159. We look at Kochanowicz, 300 average to righties, almost 300 to lefties. Hard hit percentage of 47%. Take the over. I would lean over 9. We got a 9-mile-an-hour wind blowing out to center field. It's going to be 59 degrees with mid-humidity, mid-pressure. Home runs should be up. If we look at Haney, he's a fly ball pitcher. Kochanowicz is a fly ball pitcher. Fairly evenly split. It's not drastic, but I would lean the over in Pirates money line. There's just no value to take the Angels at minus 155 with Kochanowicz pitching. All right, next game is going to be the Rays and the D-backs. D-backs got the job done yesterday. Rays just didn't show up. Taj Bradley on the bump going up against Eduardo Rodriguez. Not a huge Rodriguez fan. That said, I think he's got a favorable matchup today. Taj Bradley, you never really know what you're going to get. My issue is he is a fastball cutter guy. D-backs love righties that throw fastballs and cutters. So lean Diamondbacks in this one. Minus 148 is a little juicy. You could take the D-backs -1 or D-backs first 5 minus a half a run. My only concern, like I said, I just can't really get behind Rodriguez, giving up a 321 average to lefties, 250 to righties. The one thing he does really well is he just doesn't give up a ton of hard contact. 86, about 87 is his exit velo, and about 33% hard hit percentage. So one of the lower in terms of starters. So no real reason here to back the Rays. Don't trust Taj Bradley. I think this is an instance where he gets absolutely smoked. This will be the 5th away game the Rays have played all season. So they have played 19 home games. So, can't back them here. So it's D-backs -1, I think would be okay. Push potential's up there, but can't really taking them on the money line -148 is just a little too juicy in my opinion. All right, Brewers and the Giants. Freddie Peralta going up against Logan Webb. Peralta, good start to a season. 191 ERA, 2-1 on the year with a 192 opponent average. Going up against Logan Webb, also having a very good season. 240 ERA, 2-1 on the year as well, giving up an opponent average of 220. Two teams that offensively have been a bit sporadic. Over the last week, Giants really haven't been hitting much. Brewers have been hitting in spurts, but technically a higher batting average. If we look at Freddie Peralta, splits versus lefties and righties, lefties have definitely had more success, hitting 255. Righties, not as much, hitting 135. Logan Webb, splits versus lefties and righties, 217 versus lefties, 226 versus righties. Giving up a pretty significant hard hit percentage, about 43%, as opposed to Peralta, who's been missing bats pretty well for the most part, about 34% hard hit percentage. Exit velo under the league average. So Brewers up. Brewers 130 seems like really good value. 52 degrees. We got high humidity and mid pressure. Not great for carry, but we do have 14-mile-an-hour wind blowing straight out to center field. That's the only thing that doesn't make me love Peralta, is he is a prolific fly ball pitcher. 67% of his outs are through the fly ball. Logan Webb, only 44%. So he is a ground ball pitcher, but I think you're getting too much value to take the Brewers here. So give me the Brewers at plus 130. Last game on the card is going to be the Rangers and the Athletics. We got a 13-mile-an-hour wind blowing out today. It's going to be about 55 degrees with high humidity and mid pressure. Pretty good for scoring runs. Kumar Rocker on the bump for the Rangers, JP Sears for the Athletics. I would give the pitching advantage slightly to Oakland. Not a huge JP Sears guy, but if we look at Kumar Rocker, he's 1-2 on the year, giving up an opponent average of 300, rocking a 6.38 ERA. That said, he looks pretty good. His last couple of starts have looked significantly better. Still struggling against lefties, though. This is where I give the advantage to the A's, giving up a 410 average to lefties, 189 to righties, hard hit percentage of 51%. That is the highest among starting pitchers. That is ridiculously high. JP Sears, also not great against lefties. 333 average to lefties, 213 to righties. But this is an A spot. In my opinion, let's give me the A's as the winner of this game, plus 100. Really, I don't know if we'd count Profit X, but on more normal books, they're like minus 108. So those are the game breakdowns. Let's get into our best bets, get you guys on your way. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Join the Discord absolutely free. All right, first game, or first play, Padres team total over 3.5. I actually don't think we talked about this game. I think I might have skipped this game. But we've got Reese Olson going up against Kyle Hart in this one. So Reese Olson has been getting hit, and he's been getting hit pretty hard. So I don't necessarily trust Kyle Hart. I have zero faith in Kyle Hart. Let me be exact there. So I do think it's going to be a somewhat high-scoring game. Almost took the over, but ended up just taking Padres team total over 3.5. They should be able to get to Reese Olson. He's given up 2, 3, 4 runs in every start almost. So I like this spot for a Padres team that's still offensively dangerous. Next play, we already talked about Bryce Elder under 4.5 Ks, minus 125 on DraftKings. And then we're going to go with the Nerfy in the Reds-Marlins game. Like I said, Brady Singer, 4-0 on the year for Nerfies. Alcantara, 3-0 at home. Next play is going to be Nats' first 5. It's just really, we're fading this. Orioles offense has just been tragically bad. And it's a good pitch mix here for the Nats to score some runs off Tamayuka. So I like that one. Then last play on the card, Zach Wheeler over 4.5 hits. Just feels light, man. It just feels light. I know there's some track record there with histories and things like that kind of do say there's the potential they could only give up 4 hits, which definitely could happen. Don't get me wrong. But I just think this is a little too low, in my opinion, for a team that's been hitting, especially in this series. They're not bad. They're not great against Wheeler's pitch mix, but they are not bad either. So I do see some avenues there for them to at least get 5 hits. So those are the best bets, guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next video.